Evening tubers, KingGrimlock back once again for another Grimgram, and first off, as ever, a little bit of housekeeping. This will be a continuation of my... my countdown to auto-assembly viewers request session. Jeez, it's not that hard, is it? And as such, this is a review for that man once again, the Zizzler Rizzle 8707, Linky, who's requested Alternator's Tracks, but this of course isn't the alternator. Why can you tell that? This is the Binaltech edition. This is the Japanese metal edition. Metal. Yeah, he's a heavy boy. He is a heavy boy. It's actually more metal in this than the actual Corvette, the real car, I reckon. He is a Corvette. He is a lovely Corvette. He looks great. All this car really needs, and I'm going to say that right now, is flip out wings to go to be a perfect Tracks for me. This looks great as a Tracks. I think it looks fantastic. It looks a phenomenal piece. The paintwork is fantastically done. Unfortunately, mine's got a bit of bleeding around the edge of the sticker where it's taken some of the shine off the paint. That's the problem with the metallic ones. Unfortunately, the Binaltech, some of the parts do clash together and do some damage and do the paint chips very easily and damages very easily. Underneath, obviously that's the back of his head, which is a shame because the exhaust system works really well. If they'd managed to do something here to cover over that and into the exhaust system, that would have been a phenomenal piece of engineering. Once again, wheels move together. Bonnet opens to reveal a loose engine, even though it should be. There we go. Weapon. Boot doesn't open, of course, but the doors do. And we have the interior of Tracks in his car. I mean, this one's so detailed on the interior. You've actually got radio. There's a glove box in there as well. I'm not sure how well this is all going to be picked out. Rear view mirror, handbrake, steering wheel, gear knob, indicating stalks. And on the inside of the doors, you've actually got... you're not going to be able to see that. Inside the doors, you've actually got detailing in there as well. Really, really spectacular engineering feat. This one. This is one that, while the robot, this is another one where the car actually does it more for me than the robot mode. The robot mode isn't by any means bad, but you tell you what, this is lovely. Again, one of the first series of them. I find that the original line, the original sort of 4 or 5, are actually a better. 5, 6, 7 maybe. Before they started really hammering the repaints, they're actually better toys. They're actually better designed. They're more in tune to their G1 character, and they're not just generic repaints to try and sell them. Roll bar, I'm looking at you. Decepticharge, you know. They're not bad toys. They're just not a character that you give a monkeys about. Detailing fantastic as ever. All the gauze is picked out there. Indicators are shown. Petrol cap. Sculpted detail on the 2 Corvette logos. Headlamps that would pop up, but don't obviously, thankfully. Number plate where it just says Corvette. All the gauze again, all the radiator mesh, indicators, all the way around. Just the level of detail added into it to pick out all of these details. Again, Corvette, different light colours on the back. Lovely big Autobot symbol on the number plate. Chromed exhausts. You can actually make out the brake discs in between in the wheels, and same there, and the brake pads as well. A lot of effort went into making this look as spectacular as possible, and you know what? They didn't fail. This just looks like a phenomenal piece of kit. Let's have a look at him in his robot mode and see if it stands up to it, shall we? And so we have Binaltech Tracks in his robot mode, and as you can see, if he'll ever stand up on his own so you can actually see him, he is very reminiscent of his Generation 1 counterpart. The over-the-shoulder rockets, the width that's given by the wheels being out of the way they are, just reminiscent of those wings that he used to have in my eyes, and the pipes on his arms. Well, it's just very, very nice piece of kit. He's a difficult one because I actually prefer him in his car mode to this. There's something about this mode, I don't know, it's really nice, but it's not quite as nice as the car. It's a difficult one. But there's nothing actually wrong with it, other than the fact that it won't fit on screen. What you'll actually hear, though, as I'm moving it around, you'll hear these little tinny clink, clink, clink noises, and that's the metal parts banging off each other, which to a Binaltech collector is basically like drawing your nails down a chalkboard. It's horrible. It's nothing worse than when you transform this to hear a ting-ting of metal clashing and you just know it's chipping paint away. Now, anyone who's watched my wind charger review will know that I wasn't overly keen on him because of the width of the shoulders. Was one of the main reasons, because it made him appear very slim. With Tracks, though, the width of him, the width of his shoulders, and the width of the overall robot is actually okay, because this extra width and the width, how far the arms are out, it's okay because it's balanced with these massive chunky parts of the legs. There's a lot of width to the leg there, and you could say yes, it's a lot of kibble. This back is okay because it links to the rockets, but the window. But you're effectively on the back of it. You've got a car that is unfolded. He is a bit of a shell former, and I think that's my issue with him, is that he isn't as good as the likes of Hound or the likes of you can't even think of it, Smokescreen or Shockwave, of hiding his car parts or being part of his car parts. He kind of is a robot that just falls out of the car and has his car attached to his back, which is a shame because it is a really nice looking piece. More so in a Generation 1 sense than an alternator stroke Binaltech sense. The little moments of harking back, as I say, the rockets are lovely, and the pipes on the arms and the width to him and the general bulk to him. But you do feel if they'd have streamlined it, it could have just looked just as good, and it is very kibble heavy. In all, again, would I recommend this to a non-alternators collector? Probably not, because it hasn't got enough to it. Unless you've got a love for the alternators aesthetic or the Binaltech aesthetic, you're not going to get it from this. This isn't going to be the toy that you get your hands on, play around with, and go, oh, you know what, I really like them now. This is not one of the weaker ones of the line, but it's definitely not one of the strongest. Yeah, if you're a fan, pick it up. Honestly, though, I would probably get the alternators version rather than Binaltech, so you don't have that clashing metal issue. But the Binaltech version probably has a bit more detailing to it. It's a toss-up. You want chip paint or detail, one of the two. Anyway, this is KingGrimlock. I'd say that's just about it for Tracks.